Hi guys, I'm Jack Wong and welcome to the channel. I still remember the time when I first introduced 3D printer to my family. They are all stunned and amazed by the ability of it. Some of them not believe that a 3D printer even exists, but sooner they began to ask questions on how it works and the other stuff. Out of all the questions, one of it hit me the most. They asked if this printer able to print multicolor or if it can just stick to a single color printing. By the time, I was just a beginner and unable to answer to that question. Since then, I decided to make some research and studies to find out if there is a possibility for a 3D printer to print with multicolor. So, today we are going to share with you several 3D printing technologies that can print with multicolor, and before the end of this video, we will also show you a way you can do your multicolor printing even if you only have an ordinary single nozzle 3D printer. The first technology that we will introduce today is the direct color 3D printer with single extruder. Direct color means that the filament taken into the extruder is the exact output color from the nozzle. Through special design feeders, different color filament is being fed into a single extruder to perform multicolor printing. The pro of this kind of printer is that it can easily build by modifying the existing classic 3D printer. You can attach the modifier kits and some software upgrade to turn yours into this kind of 3D printer. Example of these kits is the mosaic palette technology. The second technology will be the direct color 3D printer with multiple extruders. This kind of printer will have at least 2 or more extruders, and each will be responsible for a type of color. By swapping different type of color filament into the hot end, the multicolor printing can be achieved. Examples of these technology implementations are such as the multi-material upgrade kit for original Prusa MK2/S and the Creality 3D CRX dual color printer. Although these above mentioned technologies sounds wonderful, but they have the same cons, which are the complications during filament swapping, ineffective use of materials, and limited color types depending on the filaments. Thus, the next technology that we will be introducing is the indirect color 3D printer. This kind of 3D printer takes in specialized material filament, and by post-processing, different types of color can be added to form the multicolor printer part. An example of this kind of 3D printer is the DaVinci Color by XYZ Printing. The pro of this kind of 3D printing technology is that it can achieve even more color variations and is more efficient in filament usage. But the con is that the cost of this kind of printer will be slightly higher and the details are soft due to the bleed or spread effect of the ink. We are sure that when time progresses, this technology will eventually improve to solve these problems. After showing the several techniques, we would like to share with you on some hacks where you can make your own multicolor print even if you only have a single classic nozzle 3D printer. The first trick is to pause the printing on the desired layer and manually change to a different color filament during the printing. Using View by Layer function, you can preview your G-code in the slicer to decide the layer number for color changes. Using post-process G-code in the slicer, the 3D printer will automatically pause at the layer desired for you to make the filament change. The color change layer will depend on your arrangement in the filament change. Now, let us run through the process together. First, we will need to import the desired model into the slicer. In this video, we will be using Cura for the slicing. After applying all the printing parameters, we will start the slicing. These steps will allow us to preview the final printed part layer by layer. By clicking on the View by Layer, we can decide the starting point of the color change layer. For this example, let us fix the color change at the 30th and the 60th layer. We will first print using white color filament, followed by red color starting at the 30th layer and a black color from the 60th layer to the end of the part. After deciding the layer's number, we can move to the next step, which is post-processing the G-code. From the post-processing G-code option, find the filament change and enable them at layer 30th and 60th. Once the post-processing is done, click to slice the whole model again. This time, the G-code will be having the modified G-code at the line responsible for starting off the layer that we had planned. If you look at the processed G-code using text editor, you will notice an additional line starting with M600 is added to the line of code. This command tells the printer to pause exactly at these layers, retracts that filament, and wait for your action to swap the filament. Quick tips: if you know a little about the G-code structure, you can manually add the code without relying on the post-processing function of Cura Slicer. We will place the special commands in the description sections below. Next, we can also add this line of code which tells the printer to give a beeping sound when the pausing happens, so that you won't miss out the timing to change the filament. Now, we can proceed to save this modified G-code and run it with our printer. One very important thing I would like to mention here is that if you are using a 3D printer model under 3v2, like my example here, you will not able to get the 3D printer to pause with this additional command. Through my research from internet, this is due to the bugs in the software, causing it not able to understand the M600 command. So, instead of waiting for the pause to happen by itself, we need to be at around that timing. When the printer beeps, we need to pause the printing process manually using the LCD menu selections. It is slightly inconvenient, but it will still be able to do the trick. So, when the printing process is paused, we need to release the extruder skipping gear and gently pull out the filament. Once the filament is pulled out, insert the desired color filament in and resume the printing. Through this method, you can achieve multicolor printing easily. The benefit of this trick is that there is no limit in the number of color changes. As long as you're having the desired color filament, you can change it wherever you want. However, the limitation of these tricks is that the color changes cannot be done within a layer. The second trick is to use specialized rainbow color filament to print your part. This type of filament has randomized color along the spools. The other properties such as printing temperature and printing parameters are similar as its base materials. Using this material, it will form mesmerizing rainbow effect on your printed part. You can find this kind of filament at your nearby 3D printing vendors. The benefit of this trick is that it is very easily done and requires no skills. But the limitation of this trick is also obvious, that you can't have the control over the color changes. So, these are the two tricks that we are able to think of for you to have a multicolor printing. Be sure to try it out and let us know about your thoughts on these tricks. Also, if you have other brilliant tricks to make a multicolor printing, please let us know in the comment sections below. Finally, if you think that this video is helpful, please like, subscribe and share it to your friends. Your support is our main motivation to create more content videos like this. As always, thanks and happy printing!